is Katie, the creator of KNF Design. I wanted to first thank you and welcome you to the 12 days of December. Welcome to my 12 days till December countdown, where I will show you different gifts or materials to add gifts to gifts or put gifts in. We're gonna start off big. Go big or go home, right? So this I thought would be perfect for a first gift day because it's something you might want to work on and have finished sooner rather than later. And this is going to be a fun wooden crate that we will create. This could have, you could use it a few different ways. First off, we're going to paint it, which you could have your child paint it. This is kind of a more kid-oriented gift, but it doesn't have to be. I mean, you can make it elegant and give it to a wife, something like that, and maybe some of the gifts that we will make later on in the week would be pretty inside here. It is big, so maybe either find a smaller crate or put like a blanket or something at the bottom to raise old items in if you're doing it as like a gift basket. But what I had planned is for a kid to receive this basket and either Christmas Eve, the day before Christmas, and have like family movie night or books and cozy socks and snacks and just a fun little activity to do as a family but the day before Christmas. You can also do it as a countdown to Christmas, either 12 days or 24 days, and either have movies or books, and each day the kid gets to grab a book or a movie to watch or read that night, depending how young or what you guys want to do. You could also do little gifts and maybe wrap little presents 1 through 12, 1 through 24, whatever you decide to do. They may be not numbered or numbered, either way, and the kid can grab a toy from the basket and unwrap it as a countdown to Christmas. Another idea you could do for this is to have each kid paint and decorate their own box, do a vinyl that we're gonna do on the front with the with the child's name on it, and then Christmas Day all the kids' gifts get put in their specific box, which they will then grab their little box, take to their spot, and open all their gifts. So a few different ideas, countdowns, Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, lots of variations that you can do. I have 2 samples, and I also told you the fonts I used to make the designs that you can download. Don't forget to download those within the 24 hours. But I told you the fonts I used in case you want to change up the wording and mix it up for something else like I just mentioned. So, since we're painting, I did get a paper to cover my desk, and you could stain this, you could paint it whatever color you want. Again, you could have the kids paint it. I just thought a nice red seemed fun. I also didn't want to lose this beautiful wood color, so I'm going to do what's known as a whitewash, even though it's red paint, I know. There's a couple ways you can do a whitewash. One is apply the paint and then just wipe it off. You could wipe it off with a paper towel or a wet wipe. That uses quite a bit of paint, especially with wood that soaks in the paint a lot. So what I like to do is mix my paint with some water. Now this is quite a bit of water, but this is quite a big crate. So I'll mix my paint in with the water and apply it if I need. I have lots of just paper towels to wipe off excess. And the fun thing with this is if it looks like it's too thick, not as transparent as you want, not as much wood is showing through, then add some more water. If it seems too runny, add more paint and then just kind of play with the mixture. And then you need a paintbrush. You could use a regular paintbrush. I'm using a sponge brush because it's a big brush for a big area. Now, the crate itself came from Joann Fabrics, and here is the label. There you go. It was $10 for this giant crate, which was the best deal I found. It does need a little bit of sanding. It's a little rough. If you know me, I hate sanding. I really should sand it down more than I did. I did it real quick. But yeah, I recommend sanding it down, especially if you get this one that's a little rough on the edges. I tried to find one that was pretty smooth so I won't have to. If you find some on Amazon, they might be a little more expensive, but maybe you won't have to sand it as much. So take that with what you want, and depending on your size, how big you might want your crate. Again, this is quite a large one, so yeah, I'm gonna paint this now and we'll speed through that. So for a HTV for a box or permanent vinyl, we first need to upload our design. To upload, I just hit the upload button, and you can either drag the file in or hit the button to locate it. So this is what it'll look like. We can hit continue. You can do some tags and categories and folders to help you find it later if you need to. I'm just going to hit upload. Cricut Design Space tends to resize things funny. This is a lot smaller than it originally was, but that's okay because we actually need to measure a box and size things anyway because everyone's box might be a little bit different. Now my slabs are about 1.9, so almost 2 inches this way if I had one slab, two slab. So I'm going to use that to measure, but first I need to decide which box I want. You could do one piece per slab, and like this one, maybe that's on the top slab, that's on the bottom slab. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You could put them all on 1, 2, 3. It just kind of depends on your box. I'm going to use HTV over permanent vinyl. You can use permanent vinyl on wood. In my experience, I just prefer HTV, heat transfer vinyl, iron-on vinyl to wood. Just a little bit better. I feel like it adheres just a little bit better than the permanent, but I have used permanent and it tends to hold up well as well. So let's first ungroup so we have all the pieces. Over here, I tell you what fonts I use because chances are you probably don't want to use these same names. There we go. This one, it's not filled in, it's not a big deal, it's the same as this. They're both basic cuts. The font I used here is called A Calling, and I use the same one for the bottom, and Sophia Romantic. I do on my website show you how you can look up fonts and download fonts, and most for free. So you can head to my website and there's a search box, just type fonts, and that tutorial should come up for you. So I think I'm going to do a Christmas Eve box. if you don't want Christmas Eve, you might just want Christmas box. You can do there's a couple things. If you do contour and just select all of that, and then you need these little inside pieces, and then exit, you do have this weird gap. So I'm just gonna hit back. So to get rid of that, I'm actually just gonna make it easy, and I'll add that to the file too. You could actually just use this one. I think that would be easier. You can also get rid of things by going over here to shapes. Let's do the shape. And we don't want it to say countdown, let's say. So we'll just cover that. So selecting the box and that text there. You could hit slice, it's just a few more things to delete. You can also hit the subtract and then it disappears. And now it just says Christmas box. So there's that, but we don't want Christmas box, and I'm going to get rid of actually all of this. We don't need that anymore. We don't need that. And I'm actually going to use the name Isabel. It's okay if it's not centered because it will be going on different sections. We'll have to center it when we put it on a box. So right now the height is only 1 inch, and we can go a bit bigger than that. We can go almost to 2. So I'm going to make all of this a bit bigger. It is locked, so we know it'll size proportionately. 1.25. That way I'm sizing it like this so it goes together. If you just go up here and then type in, I think I like that height. If I will just do an even, you could go in and do 1.5 and then go in and do 1.5 there. That makes it 12. That should be fine. And then 1.5 makes it 6, so that should be fine as well. So you could go in and do it manually like that. All these things are going to be cut separately, but I was actually looking, and I have some fun glitter HTV that's white. I was going to do all my fonts white. I thought it might be fun to do my snowflakes in the glitter. So I'm going to select all of my snowflakes, and I'm going to change it to a different color. It doesn't really matter what color, just so I know blue, it's going to be my glitter HTV. And then the other ones, black, black, and black, those are going to be my regular white HTV. I could do the name in glitter as well, and I was kind of debating if I wanted to do that or not. I think I'm going to leave it just white, but let me know what you would do. You can also go to this color sync and make sure things are lined up in the correct colors as well. So I think that looks good there. So we will hit make it. It does want you to save it. We'll do Christmas box. And then my vinyl is going to go on a mat since that's just the type I have. So that's how it will come across. And then that one will be our glitter one. Now, since this is HTV, we will want to mirror both of our things. The snowflakes don't really matter if they're mirrored. It's the same either way, hence why it doesn't change. But you definitely want to mirror the words. This one's a little close for cutting. I'm just going to move it to the side a little bit and maybe down. just so it's easier to cut in between there. But I think that looks good. So we are going to cut. When doing your vinyl, you want that shiny carrier side down on the mat, so that way it just cuts the vinyl, not the carrier sheet. Also, something to be aware of, I have my design, it's right at 12. Cricut always does that little spacer to, so in case you don't get right up against the edge. So mine does require the longer mat. If you don't have a longer mat or that much material, just make this slightly smaller. It doesn't need much to be able to fit on a regular 12 by 12. I have it, so I'm going to use it. But if you don't, just make it a smidge smaller. Also, when we go to do our heat settings, I like to go to just Cricut.com heat guide. You can just search Cricut heat guide, it comes up as well. I'll try to remember to link it down below, but if future you need it. And then it'll ask what type of heat source you have. You can do any of them, you can do the many, and then it'll ask you what material. So we have a glitter iron-on, and then what type of material. We have wood. So if you hit apply, it'll say medium setting, 40 seconds, firm pressure, slowly remove when it's quarter touch. And it tells you all of the information you could need, which is really nice. You don't have to have it written down in a bazillion places. If you do an easy press, you can do the same thing. Let's do everyday iron-on. Then we will also do our wood. And it says you need the pressing mat, which this one, it'll be a little hard to do a pressing mat on. And so then here it'll tell you 300 degrees, 45 seconds. Firm pressure, slowly remove when it's quarter touch, and you can even change it from Celsius or Fahrenheit, which is really nice. So we'll use those settings when we cut our material. I just wanted to show, if you've never weeded HTV, it's really easy. I like to find a corner and then I just start peeling it back, and it peels away really pretty easily from the cut. And you want to keep that carrier sheet, so you're just peeling the back extra vinyl off. And once I peel it, that's when I go in and cut my extra, cut all my pieces, separate them. That way I can see them a little bit easier once this extra vinyl is off of them. And then I'll just go in. You can go in with a weeding tool or a finger, and you just pick up these little extra pieces here in the center. But now that they are weeded, it's a little bit easier to see where my line is to separate them. So I'm going to cut these out and get those little pieces on the inside, and then I'll do my letters, but I like doing HTV for small detail because it makes it so much easier to weed out. So I weeded all of the vinyl. Yes, this is glitter and that's just regular HTV, but since nothing's overlapping, we can press them all at the same time. I think that looks pretty good. That's how I'm going to arrange my words and everything. And you could do your press. I think it might be easier to do the little mini press. So I think I'm going to use my mini press on this to do individual sections. So it'll go a little bit slower, but just so I don't press too hard on the wood. It does say firm pressure, but just careful you don't bust your wood putting too much pressure on it. Usually you would like to have a pressing mat underneath, but obviously in this case we can't do that. So just be careful with that. And I did preheat my wood for 5 seconds. It's always nice to get it warmed up. And then I like to put a Teflon sheet over my section. I'll just move it over when needed. This just protects my little easy press here. So maybe like the color of the wood might come up and bleed or something like that. It'll get on the Teflon sheet instead of my iron. So that's why I like to use that. And we'll, again, medium setting, 40 seconds. I just looked that up on the Cricut Heats guide. So I'm gonna do this, and then it's a cold peel, and just kind of gradually keep checking until they are on our wood, and then we'll let it set. So here's our box all finished. I just love how it turned out. It just looks professional and beautiful. I love this glitter vinyl I found. It just kind of gives a little extra contrast between the white. You could do different colors as well, but I don't know, I really like how this turned out, and I think it'd be so fun for a little kid to get this little box with all the little either snacks and books and things to get them excited for Christmas Day. Like, you really got to get a kid excited for Christmas, right? You could do the countdown to Christmas, lots of different variations there. But I hope you have fun making this little box. You could even put it on a bag too if you can't find a crate or something like that. I will see you tomorrow for the next gift. Bye for now.